Okay, so I know I said in the last video that I was gonna make a rap song in the next video. However, things have changed. Okay, there's, aliens. So basically, the plot switched. We gotta do this first. Still releasing the rap song. I'm gonna be the new Kanye. Just prepare for that. But for right now, subscribe and let's get into it. So, apparently there's now a Galactic Federation that we just found out about by, some Israeli general, I think. So basically, this is what happened. Former Israeli space security chief says aliens exist, humanity not ready. So this isn't just like your regular old dude out in the middle of nowhere. This isn't, Alex Jones. While Alex Jones has never been wrong about anything, his credibility is a bit iffy to say the least. Okay, this is a retired Israeli general and current professor named Haim Eshed. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't speak their language. He says apparently a Galactic Federation has been in contact with Israel and the US for years, but are keeping themselves a secret to prevent hysteria until humanity is ready. Now, obviously, I don't think I would go crazy. I think I'd be pretty, reasonable with the aliens. I think I'd be pretty cool. I would fit in just well. I would be able to go up to them and be like, yo, dog, you play Fortnite? Me neither, dog. That game's trash. Let's go, blow up a planet. Okay, this Ashed guy apparently worked in the Israeli space security program for nearly 30 years and is a three-time recipient of the Israeli Security Award. And he explained that Israel and the US have both been dealing with aliens for years. Not to mention, this guy was the head of the Israel space security program. He's not just like the dude who worked as the janitor who overheard something by the one dude through the bathroom door with the mop on his head. And apparently when he was talking about aliens, he clarified this by no means refers to immigrants. Thank you, Ashed. I'm glad we cleared that one up. And then he followed it up by saying there is an existence of a Galactic Federation. Now, if there is a Galactic Federation going on and we were talking about immigrants, I'd be quite worried, okay? If the immigrants somehow created something called a Galactic Federation, I mean, that would just be a little bit concerning if you ask me. See, here's where things get a little bit sketchy. He's 87 years old, so we really have no idea if this man's crazy or not, because as we know, typically with older individuals, the Alzheimer's and dementia tends to set in through the older age. However, maybe this guy doesn't have Alzheimer's. He seems like a very smart person. He doesn't seem like he has schizophrenia. So, for the sake of the video, everything he says is 100% correct. He then goes on to say that an agreement has been made between the aliens and the US, and apparently they now have some kind of weird alliance agreement or something because they both want to understand and research the fabric of the universe, whatever that means. Yeah, it's probably alien talk for I just want to probe you. This cooperation includes a secret underground base on Mars where American and alien representatives reside. See, this is where his credibility gets a little bit shot left and right. So like, in order to accept this man's story, we now have to also accept that there's a alien and US space station on Mars, which I believe it. I think it's pretty reasonable to suggest that that would happen. If anyone's gonna do it, it's the US, let's be honest. And like the article points out, this perfectly coincides with Donald Trump's creation of the Space Force as the fifth branch of the US Armed Forces. He was ahead of the game, bro. He was like, yo, we got aliens out here, the Galactic Federation. Let's start making a military thing, because just in case we might need to blow them up. You always got to be prepared for having to blow someone up. So why not add a piece of the military to handle the aliens too? I understand that they're probably not used to blow up the aliens, but it's still nice to know that we could blow up an alien or two if it came down to it. Apparently Trump was going to expose their existence, however the aliens stepped in and stopped him. I mean, that adds credibility to his story because I would expect Donald Trump to try and disclose the existence of it. And yeah, I can see that the Galactic Federation coming in and being like, yo dog, probably shouldn't do that. I'd see that as a pretty good reason to not do that. If I had a green dude show up at my door and say, yo bro, probably don't want to take a walk this afternoon. We're out here probing people. I would look at him and I would go, you're not human. And you know what? I think I'm gonna do what you say. So apparently they wish to prevent mass hysteria since they felt humanity needed to evolve and reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are. I don't know what space is. I don't know what a spaceship is either. I think what they're referring to here is spaceships that can actually like do cool stuff, like go to the other planets and solar systems. I mean, yeah, we got spaceships, but if you really boil it down to its simplest components, we're strapping a dude to a rocket and just shooting him into space and hoping everything goes well. I think what they're referring to is the spaceships that can like zoom all the way out to Mars and then Jupiter and then head on down to the Andromeda galaxy for lunch. Obviously, with the introduction of these spaceships, we're gonna have to send all the girls to Jupiter because they do get stupider. Everybody knows this. He said that he decided to disclose this information because the talk around this topic has changed. His reasoning is that back in the day, if he said this, he'd probably be hospitalized, which, you know what? He's not wrong. In fact, I fully believe that this man is now going to get into some some kind of car accident within like the next year or two. As soon as you start exposing stuff, all of a sudden, dude, all of a sudden you get into a car crash out of nowhere, or all of a sudden, dude, you have a heart attack, or somehow you hung yourself even though there's a bullet wound in your head. It's the things that happen when you start exposing stuff about the government and secrets. It's just typical behavior. You expose something, you pull out a document, then all of a sudden you commit suicide within a week, and it appears very strange because the person never even owned a gun, but he still has a bullet wound to the back of the head. So, you know, I'm not saying there's gonna be some kind of interference going on here. All I'm saying is the Galactic Federation might come out of nowhere and hit a lick on him. So I think what he's trying to say here is that basically the US and all the other nations, we gotta actually develop base technology that's like good and reliable for space travel before we just start talking to aliens, because everybody's gonna be like, yo, these guys can like zip to Mars and back in 5 seconds, and then also travel back in time and save Lincoln. That's a little bit crazy, dog. I mean, what do we do? We just went to the moon? Half of us don't even know if we actually went there or not. But yeah, it's good to hear that Earth is basically considered the outsiders for the Galactic Federation. They just don't want any part of us, really. They said, yeah, Earth, dog, I mean, we'll talk to a few of them. We're not gonna deal with that, though. We're not bringing them in the Federation yet. They're gonna blow us up. They're gonna do something crazy. They're gonna get a hold of the technology, and they're just gonna end up blowing something up by accident. And to that, I say they're absolutely right. They are 100% right. I do think that the Earth beings, as we might need to call ourselves, we might have developed a little bit differently, where we tend to just want to take over everything that we find. So, you know, they're not entirely in the wrong for not wanting to admit us to the Federation. And, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think there's ever gonna be a point where when they do admit us, we're not going to eventually try to take them all over. Let's be real here. We're human. It's only a matter of time until a dude goes, hey, I can politically get some influence here. Let's blow up planet Xenon. Let's take them over. We can make them slaves. It's only a matter of time until we're in this Galactic Federation, and when we are, I at least wholeheartedly plan to take over. You know what I mean? We are going from nation fighting to just planetary fighting. That's just how the human race works. Let's not try to kid anyone here. We're still going to be blowing stuff up. I personally sent out a tweet for the Galactic Federation to perhaps let me in. I just let them know I could share many secrets with them. I do know what the powerhouse of the cell is, so I heard that, you know, they're here for research purposes and understanding the fabric of the universe. You know, I could let them in on a few secrets or two. I can tell you the powerhouse of the cell. I'm not going to say it out loud, because obviously if I tell you here, you have no reason to let me in. But you let me in, dude, powerhouse of the cell, dog, I'm telling you straight up. All you gotta do, let me blow up a few asteroids, blow up some unimportant stuff, you know, let me play around with your weapons, your space lasers, and we have a deal. Okay, but in all reality, if anyone from the Galactic Federation is listening in, I'm a pretty rational guy, I'm a pretty logical guy. I think I could do pretty good in your federation politically. I have some great aspirations. I can improve things for the universe. I could end pollution. I'm down for an internship. I'll work for free. Just let me on the spaceship. So yeah, that's pretty much the video. There's a Galactic Federation now that we're being excluded from because I guess we've either been deemed too dangerous or not smart enough yet. Which both reasons, to be honest, are completely understandable. Or this old man is just lying and crazy. Either reason holds weight. I'd like to believe the other reason though, because that one is much cooler. Anyway, like I said before, like, subscribe, comment. I'm coming out with this rap song soon, dude. It's gonna be pretty fire. It's gonna be pretty lit. Kanye's not even gonna know what's gonna hit him, dude. I'm gonna take his career down in one fell swoop. He's gonna be destroyed off the internet. It really is that good. Stay tuned. Goodbye.